Hi, Or Kodesh community. My name is Josh Wilkenfeld, and I'm here today as part of the 30 Days of Learning series. Thanks so much to Rabbi Jill Levy and everyone at Or Kodesh for organizing this fantastic collection of content in advance of the Tishrei holidays. I want to spend a couple of minutes today talking about an approach to the Rosh Hashanah Musaf, one that I think helps emphasize a message about the capacity of these holidays to yield real and meaningful change in our lives and our approach to the world and to each other. Uniquely in the Jewish calendar, the Rosh Hashanah Musaf Amidah features three blessings particular to the holiday, not the single blessing which is commonplace for the Amidah on most other holidays, or the 13 blessings which we recite on weekdays. Each blessing in this Rosh Hashanah Musaf focuses on its own topic: Malchuyot, kingship, Zichronot, remembrances, and Shofarot, shofar blasts. Undoubtedly, each of these blessings highlights a key theme of Rosh Hashanah. Malchuyot speaks to God's sovereignty as we celebrate God's role in the creation of the world. Zichronot celebrates God's capacity to remember deeds large and small, as we note the crucial role that such factual recollections play in God's role as judge for humanity. And Shofarot talks about times in history that have involved the shofar, whose blasts are undoubtedly a core part of the Rosh Hashanah observance. Each theme stands on its own merit. Each clearly reflects a strand of the DNA of Rosh Hashanah. I want to briefly suggest, though, that these sections, although perhaps at first blush touching on disparate subjects, all work together to tell a powerful message of our capacity for change and of the capacity of God and the Jewish holidays to help facilitate that change. Let's start with the middle blessing. Zichronot emphasizes God's capacity to remember every last detail about our lives. As the bracha says, Ki ein shichacha lifnei kisei kvodecha ve'ein nistar leneged einecha. Nothing is forgotten from your seat of glory, and nothing is hidden from before your eyes. Although this passage certainly provides a reminder of God's capacity to recollect every facet of our lives, this total recall is also intimidating. As the Psalms relate, if God counts iniquities, no one will survive. After all, no one's record is so pure of misdeeds as to withstand this type of withering scrutiny. But I want to submit today that part of the message of the Rosh Hashanah Musaf is about a selective, charitable memory, one that involves a type of deliberate and beneficial shading of reality that serves as a model for how we can charitably view our own lives. For example, Zichronot, like the other Musaf sections, offers a series of 10 passages from the scriptures, Tanakh, that are designed to evoke the passage's theme. Zichronot, for example, quotes the prophet Jeremiah as reflecting God's appreciation for the Jewish people's A-plus behavior in the desert. As the Machzor relates, go and cry in the ears of Jerusalem, saying, thus says the Lord, I remember for you the affection of your youth, how you went after me in the wilderness in a land that was not sown. Now, no neutral reader of the Torah could fairly describe the Jews as loyal and dutiful followers in the desert. To the contrary, the Torah emphasizes again and again how the Jews complained, were stiff-necked, and rebellious. And yet, Jeremiah, in this passage from our Musaf, offers a similar shading of other events from Jewish biblical history, taking facts that we know to be negative and relating them as if they were positive and as if God remembers them as positive happenings. So how does our homage to memory center on what seems like a set of key inaccuracies? I think clues come from the other two sections of the Rosh Hashanah Musaf. Malchuyot, about kingship, focuses on God's unrivaled power. God is the creator and therefore master of the universe. And in that capacity, God uniquely has the power to take the bad and change it to good. God alone has the power to take sins and turn them from scarlet to white as snow, a prerogative that involves a selective and merciful approach to remembering misdeeds. Shofarot, the final section, though notionally about shofar blasts, underscores the same concept. The Shofarot section offers examples of situations where God has or will intervene in Jewish history to upset the typical flow of events. For example, the section reminds us of the association of the shofar with the giving of the Torah on Mount Sinai, a key event in human history which changed a nation from being former slaves to God's own treasured people. Similarly, Shofarot cites the anticipated role of the shofar in the final ingathering of Jewish exiles, a blow of the great shofar that will change the lot of the Jewish people from scattered to home. All told, these events speak to the idea that God has the power to flip the script on human history, and a track record of using that power to exactly this effect. I'd like to suggest that these prayers suggest that what is true for the nation as a whole can also be true for the individual. God can and does change the fate of the Jewish people, rescuing the Jews from the usual forces of history. And the same can happen for individuals. God can remember misdeeds, but in God's great power, flip what looks like a misdeed into a positive remembrance. I think this offers a call to action for this holiday season. Because we hold the same power for ourselves, we are not locked into thinking of ourselves as inexorably chained to a pattern of behavior. We can give ourselves a break for the past as part of a commitment to an improved future. The particular challenges of this year perhaps demand this kind of self-charity now more than ever. We have all been confronted with extreme difficulties, which may have elicited some situations where we have risen to the moment and some where we could do better. Change is possible, but it requires both belief in our ability to break cycles of conduct, a process that benefits some from creative and beneficial shadings of the past. The message of Musaf is that we have this incredible capacity to rewrite our own personal histories as part of the real capacity to rewrite our future. Shana Tova to all.